Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another weather forecast here, and I'm just going to do another update on this major winter storm / potential blizzard for areas in the Great Lakes here in Midwest as we're continuing to get closer and closer and better accurate forecasts from the models here. I'm going to be looking at more models throughout the video and be looking at the Icon CMC as well, and then obviously the European and GFS. So I want to give you guys a better look and more detailed forecast, snowfall total wise, on what we can expect here, where the bullseye snow will be. Can anywhere see more or less snow based on what they have right now forecasted? I'll be going through all of that here as well and going through the models on the future radar. So I'll be looking at all of that in this video here. But if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe as well. Hit the like button and post notification icon here. But without further ado, let's get this major forecast. So here, look now at the outlook here in the next 54 hours on November 30th. And you have all this precipitation, but it's none of it snow here, as it is coming in from the moisture from the Gulf here. There's that low pressure in northern Alabama, and it's going to bring just very, very cold rain here. Temperatures overday will be in the upper 40s and lower 50s for these areas in the southeast. So rather cold highs, but still that's not going to obviously prevent, it's still not going to prevent it from just being rain. It's just going to be rain because of how warm those temperatures are. I mean, they're not really warm, but obviously it's not below freezing, so it's going to stay all this very moist precipitation. All of it's going to be really, really cold rain here, so not going to be really a nice day. You want to be out there on Monday. Monday is really bad enough, but the climate or the weather will make it even worse there. But as we now go later into the day and Monday, kind of towards the afternoon and evening, as those evening temperatures come in, so those temperatures really drop there. So there's that cold front really rushing in and moving farther more eastward, which will allow that really cold, chilly rain as it moves northward into colder temperatures to begin to turn into now more of frozen precipitation, now into freezing rain. Also kind of a mix of rain and snow, and even some light to heavy snow there for areas into Indiana, Ohio, and even far eastern Illinois by the overnight hours there. As we go now towards really almost around midnight, temperatures continue to drop, and that's going to allow these temperatures there all the way to Tennessee to be below freezing, which will allow some of that precipitation to turn into snow here and not rain. That's going to go all the way up into the east of Nashville area. Going to bring some snow there for Cincinnati, Paducah, Lexington. Really, really heavy snow for Toledo, and up into Detroit. And as we continue now into the morning hours of Tuesday, those temperatures are extremely, extremely cold for areas as far down as Florida. Obviously, Florida won't get snow, but those temperatures are going to really drop all the way down to Florida, which will allow well below freezing temperatures up in the southeast, which will allow some of the snow to go more southward into areas like northern Georgia and even far western North Carolina. But the worst of the snow will be for areas in Ohio and Pennsylvania. That's the new bullseye for the snowfall totals there. As we now continue into Tuesday evening, these the really strong winds and the low pressure, it's going to bring some really strong winds. Those strong winds will pour on into areas like off Lake Erie, which will allow potentially for whiteout conditions at the heaviest of the snow. As you do see, based on how close these isobars are, that's around anywhere from 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts, obviously will help bring really harsh impact and even harsh visibility there up into West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, even off the Niagara Falls area as well. And then snow will continue. We will actually have lake effect snow in the exact areas off Lake Erie, such as Erie, Pennsylvania, and Buffalo for the 24 hours after the storm there. And then by the time we get to the 3rd, it'll kind of wind down. There's going to be very, very cold. Maybe some slight flurries on and off there, but it's going to be kind of ending towards that Thursday time frame. So still a pretty long-lasting storm from Monday to Thursday. It's decent. Going to be definitely impacting a lot of people, but the really worst people kind of wind down to Ohio and Pennsylvania here. But let's take a look now at the European model. So here the European model, they actually have the same thing. All that precipitation, very warm and especially up in these areas off the Gulf Coast. I mean, it's not going to be too warm. They're still going to be below average temperatures, but still going to be very moist. And some of these areas obviously will be seeing well above freezing, so no snow in the forecast for any of those areas. Just going to be really cold rain, but we will be seeing some strong winds in my area to around 20 miles an hour. So we will have some gusty winds in the southeast there with that rain. But as it converts into snow, those winds will increase as that low pressure does strengthen and going to bring some really gusty winds for areas like Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. But as we go into the overnight hours, as those temperatures continue to drop up in the 20s and teens for some of these areas, that rain will quickly turn to snow here and quickly accumulate as those surfaces are cold enough there, as this cold front will be in these areas 24 hours before the actual snow begins. And we're going to be seeing really harsh impacts right from the start when it becomes snow up in areas like Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. As we now get waking up on the 1st, this snow will be all the way down up into Georgia and stretching all the way up from Quebec all the way to Georgia. Really, it's going to be quite an interesting pattern. This is going to help bring in some severe weather there and some really strong winds up in the New England area. So we're going to be seeing some really windy / harsh impacts here. Really extremely heavy rain there. But by the 1st, we're seeing that really the heaviest of the snow will be obviously in Canada, but for the United States, it could be towards the Detroit area and as well as Toledo and Cleveland. But going to see some light flurries and snow showers, and even a trace of snow here like northern Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and North Carolina. And it's going to continue as we go later in the morning hours there. But this snow is continuing to eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, big cities like Atlanta, Birmingham, Huntsville, Nashville, Raleigh, Greensboro. You guys are all kind of going to get really spared from the snowstorm, so you guys are good from the snow or anything like that. So no need to worry about that or anything. And then by the later into the 2nd, this snow continues to pick up near areas like Erie, Cleveland, Buffalo, stretching as far as Syracuse and Ithaca, and get some snow as far as Reading and even Scranton can get some light flurries there. But after that's really going to stay out of any way towards like Harrisburg or New York City here. But let's also try to check out the CMC here. Actually, no, the CMC does not pull up here. I actually forgot CMC does not pull up. But we're going to be zooming in here so I can kind of go hour by hour. Like I did say, this is going to be more of a detailed forecast. So as we now go into 6 a.m. now into the 30th, again, it's going to be really cold, obviously, with these really cold temperatures here. So you just see this light rain is going to slowly convert into some freezing rain and snow. That's going to be really gradual. It doesn't really actually until later in Monday where this snow actually really blows up there. You see extremely heavy snow blowing up in areas like Ohio and Indiana. Potentially some big ice starts as well near Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky where that snow and rain actually kind of mixes there. And then by later on to Tuesday, the 1st, really heavy rain now. Really heavy snow for areas like as well up into the north central part of Ohio. So you're going to see some light flurries there, some portions of much of Indiana. Seeing that really heavy snow continuing in Cincinnati in northern Kentucky. Detroit still getting that decent amount of snow. Lansing, some flurries. And as we now get later into the 1st, almost in the overnight hours in the 2nd of December, that snow is going to really pick up quite dramatically in areas like Cleveland, Erie, Pennsylvania, as well as other areas near Youngstown, Ohio, Toledo, just north of Columbus, and also going to really be picking up there as well up into far western Pennsylvania. So I'm going to be seeing extremely heavy amounts of snow there at a very fast rate off Lake Erie. By the 2nd, we're still seeing some really heavy snow off Lake Erie there for Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Erie, as well up into Cleveland, and this snow stretches as far as Syracuse, up in the Adirondacks, up into Charleston, West Virginia, far western Maryland. So it's going to bring in some really snowy conditions here, especially just off Lake Erie there near Ohio and Pennsylvania. Let's check out the European here. As you do see here, we're seeing quite a bit of snow all the way from basically Quebec all the way down to northern Georgia here. But totals have gone down a lot for some people and have gone up for some people. Let's actually now go into the regions here. Let's go towards the Mid-Atlantic first here. This is going to be gradual, kind of really far zoomed in here compared to obviously what we're just looking at. But you just see up into near the metro Atlanta area, we can see a trace of snow, potentially just under an inch there. But areas far northern to Georgia, like McKaysville, like up near Blairsville, we can see around 1 to 2 inches there. Nashville, you guys are going to be seeing less than an inch, so really huge downcast. But really, the most amount of snow the deep southeast will be towards the Tennessee and North Carolina border and the Great Smoky Mountains. And the only place that's really near that is Gatlinburg, so really around 6 to 7 inches there. Totals have kind of increased for some areas based on this morning, and that's including Cincinnati. Cincinnati has also increased in snowfall as well. So we are still seeing some areas increasing snow. So obviously this is still a few days out, so things can change. Your snowfall totals may go down like we saw this morning, but there's still a chance they can go up. Like Cincinnati, you guys were basically seeing around like 3 inches of the European this morning, and now you guys are seeing around 5 to 7 inches. So there's still a chance snowfall totals can increase for some areas, even though they decreased this morning. Indianapolis, there's really no hope there. Really only 1 to 2 inches there now. But really as well, Eastern Indiana is starting to get some higher totals now. I mean, they were kind of around 3-5 inches, but now they're going towards some higher totals, like 4 to just under 7 inches. So there's still possibilities. Again, there's still some hope. Some areas can increase in snowfall, continuing as this does not really start until really the 30th, and this is the 27th. So it's still a whole 2 days of updates. Detroit continuing to increase in snowfall compared to this morning, 7 to 8 inches. That's a good amount of snow and snowfall totals. Wow, in Cleveland, they're really going up there as well. Let's actually kind of zoom in more towards the Cleveland area. Let's actually see if we can actually go towards just directly Ohio here. Let's check out Cleveland here. I mean, Cleveland, boy, oh boy, are those totals really going up here. Also, totals for Columbus are going up now, 4 to 6 inches for Columbus. That's continuing to go up as well. So a big trend for Ohio. Most of these areas in Ohio are getting a bigger increase in snowfall. Toledo, 6 to 8.5 inches there. Areas in Cleveland, oh my gosh, you guys can see anywhere from really 8 inches if you're right off the coast, but if you're kind of towards southern Cleveland, just south of Cleveland, right here, you can see up to 17.4 inches of snowfall. Area Pennsylvania, 5 to 8 inches of snowfall. Area near Pittsburgh, 4 to 6 inches there. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Near Niagara Falls, around an inch, but south of that, west of that, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. Let's check out now the GFS. Let's actually zoom out a little bit so we can actually get that. So now we take a look at the GFS here, and this is obviously a bit of a different map, but let's go back into the region so you guys can see towards more zoomed in. Okay, so let's see if we can find the Mid-Atlantic, if it's actually, there it is, the Mid-Atlantic. So as it loads, hopefully it loads now. That would be great if it actually loads. Imagine if it doesn't load, that'd be kind of funny. There we go. All right, so now GFS here, so pretty extreme differences, I guess you could say that. Nashville, not even a trace in the GFS. Much of Metro Atlanta, not even a trace. They're only around 2 inches max. Still the same thing basically with the Great Smoky Mountains, but a huge difference for areas like Kentucky, Southern Ohio, and other areas as well into Indiana. So let's start with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 1 inch for the GFS. European, 4 to anywhere from 7 inches there. That's obviously a big difference for a big city there. Areas near Columbus, 2 to 4 inches on the GFS and around 4 to 7 on the European. Areas in eastern Indiana near the border of Ohio, you guys, only around 1 to 3 inches, really max 3 inches based on the GFS, but European anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. Indianapolis, you guys are getting around 1 to 2 inches there, so kind of towards similar. But as well, Detroit only 4 to 6 inches on GFS. European getting around that 8-inch mark, so that's also a big difference for a very big city. But models are obviously starting to agree with the amounts of snow off Lake Erie here. So let's actually check in towards Ohio here. Let's go towards Cleveland. Now you do see there are some big differences. There are some max only 13.8 inches. That's still an 8-inch difference. Sorry, not 8 inch. That's still a 5-inch difference basically, or yeah, it's only a 4-inch difference compared to that 17.4. So, that's only 4 inches, but obviously that's still 13 and 17, still a dramatic difference, but they're still agreeing with where the hot spot will be. Pittsburgh, 3 to 5 inches on the GFS, so that's not a huge difference, but the big difference is the amount of snow, the increasement of snow going towards kind of more inland New York off lake area. But let's take a look at the CMC. CMC is showing some interesting totals for interesting places. They're getting the snow all the way down up to far southern Atlanta, way south of Atlanta, up to Birmingham. Trace of snow. That's obviously very interesting. This still has a whole 2 days again. There's still a whole 2 days for plenty of things to change, not just for Indiana, Ohio, but like Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. You guys can obviously change dramatically in the next 2 days as well. They can move more southward or northward, basically. For Nashville, 2 to 4 inches on the CMC. That's interesting. Getting that snow as far as me as well in the CMC. CMC is showing around 9 to 11 inches for Kentucky or for Cincinnati. CMC actually they don't have really regions, so I can't really zoom in like I did with the other previous models. But they get up to around half a foot for Lexington. Look, they actually have up to 4 to 6 inches for Indianapolis. Huge difference there. Areas into Western Ohio are actually getting the actual bullseye instead of near Cleveland. So actually, they actually do have a eastern coast. That's really the only one I can actually zoom in with. But I mean, it's worth a shot to zoom in with. I do see. I mean, now Western Ohio instead is the bullseye instead of Lake Erie. So getting up to around 20 inches of snow on the border of Ohio and Indiana. Eastern Indiana also a huge difference, getting anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. That's a huge difference to that 1 to 3 inches to GFS and 4 to 6 on European. Only getting around half a foot for Cleveland. That's also dramatic difference. So, I mean, definitely something to keep in mind here. Let's actually go from snowfall. I actually want to look at the precipitation. Actually, no, never mind. We'll look at the CMC later on there. And last but not least, take a look at the Icon. Icon showing something pretty reasonable. They're actually getting up to, let me actually move this thing down. Let me move this down. Anywhere, actually, they're actually showing around 23 to 25 inches near Cleveland. So that's basically just under 2 feet of snow near Cleveland. That's absolutely just crazy. The huge difference is they show nothing for Detroit, basically nothing for Indianapolis. They do actually have 3 inches for Cincinnati. They do have 4 to 6 inches for Cleveland. Not Cleveland, for Columbus. They do actually have these snowfall totals really going far in Pennsylvania. They're up to around 6 to 8 inches for Pittsburgh. They actually have 7 to 10 inches for Niagara Falls, and up to around 1.5 feet for far southwestern New York. Huge difference there as well. I mean, there's obviously some big differences, as Toledo seems less than 3 inches on this. So there are models that are really disagreeing. Some are agreeing. It's really just a matter of really looking at it. Check out the Mid-Atlantic so we can actually check out the Southeast as well. What they're showing here on the Southeast. They are showing obviously nothing at all for Nashville area or anything like that. Nothing for Georgia, nothing for Alabama. So there are obviously some huge differences here.